Gone were those days when men felt like gods were full of quest for honor, conquering pride and heroism. Those were days when men cannot stand being dared or have their egos bruised. Those were days when motivation was very much prevalent and drive for extraordinary accomplishment was seen as what makes real men. This, of course, will make me tell you a weird story that happened long ago between Sonto and Tara when time was still primitive. Sonto and Tara grew up in the same community. The desire of Santo, who at that time was about 13 years older than Tara, was to marry her. Santo was the son of one of the very important chiefs of their community. Tara came from an ordinary family in the community who lived on peasant farming. Tara was a dark-skinned lady endowed with such a beautiful and radiant look that cannot be compared to any other in nearby communities. A perfect and unarguable description of an emblem of beauty. She was a lady with such a magnificent presence that commands admiration and respect. She was a lady of every man's dream. At that time, Santo was 26 years of age. He walked up to his parents and told them about his interest in marrying Tara. Both of them chorused that it is not possible, while they exchanged glances. His father told him, "I have it in plan to discuss with you in the next few days about the ongoing plan between me and my bosom friend to give his daughter's hand in marriage to you. This plan has been on now for 5 years, but we were just waiting for the right time. Moreover, Tara is still very young to be given out in marriage, and as for you, this is the right time for you to have a family of your own. Are you telling me that you are willing to wait for as long as it takes for her to be ready for marriage?" Santo swiftly responded to the question that he was willing to wait, and that all he was asking of them was to go and meet Tara's parents on his behalf. Santo's father said that Tara should be around 13 years of age. She was same age with Santo's cousin who was born about the same time with Tara. Santo's mother responded that it was less than a week in between the birth of the two girls, as Tara's christening took place during one of her several visits to her sister-in-law when she put to bed then. "It means you will have to wait for about 10 years or more for her," Santo's father said. Santo responded that for his love for her, waiting for 10 years is like waiting for 10 days. Having come to terms with Santo's resolve, his father became very angry and told him pointedly, "Imagine how much shame and ridicule your unacceptable resolve will bring on us. The long-standing friendship between my friend and I will be shattered. Imagine how broken-hearted my friend would become." He turned away several suitors who came to him directly, and those his daughter also brought to ask for her hand in marriage. He turned away those suitors by telling his daughter that he had a better plan for her. The seemingly better plan is his daughter getting married to you at my request. You will be known as a serial heartbreaker. You are breaking my heart. You are breaking your mother's heart. You are breaking my friend's heart. You are breaking the heart of my friend's wife, and also breaking the heart of my friend's daughter. Santo's father told him that he will not allow him to succeed his chieftaincy title, and he will also forfeit his bona fide right of inheritance of all he will be leaving behind. He said, "When a child knows how to die at the summertime, his father will also know how to bury him at the river bank." Santo remained defiant to his father's position and decided to lose it all for love. Santo began to work harder on the existing farmland he had and enlarged its scope massively within a short period of time. He developed a close relationship with Tara's parents. He visited them often with gifts from his farm produce and animals caught by his traps. He also gave gifts to Tara, who never knew there was a string attached. When Tara was about 20 years of age, Santo began to notice a traffic of suitors around her. He went to meet Tara's parents to make known his intention of having their daughter's hand in marriage. Tara's parents told Santo that their own marriage was not influenced by anyone and that their union stemmed from choice, The freedom to make one's marital choice, which they received from their respective parents, was what they have decided to give to their own daughter. Haven heard the response of Tara's father. He then decided to approach Tara on his own. Tara, who had become a star girl, an emblem of beauty, so charming that even some ladies said they would have assumed she was an angel if they had not known her parents and her genealogy. She became a toast of people of class and substance, both within and outside their immediate community. Santo explained to Tara how he has been in love with her ever since she was a teenager. He said, "I was ordered by my father to marry his friend's daughter about 7 years ago. On the account of my undying love for you, I blatantly turned down his proposal. I have also decided to wait patiently for another 7 years for this moment. My parents have systematically disowned me by withdrawing my right to my inheritance and my right to succeed my father's highly esteemed chieftaincy title. I therefore carefully observe to see if there is still anything else that is important that I have not sacrificed because of my love for you. Absolutely nothing left." After all that Santo has given as reasons to let Tara know how much she meant to him,
she responded with invectives. She told Santo that he has lost it all in futility,
for the fact that he did not inform her previously before taking those steps. Therefore, she can only feel indebted to him if they had acted in agreement. Tara said, "As you rightly said that you are about 13 years older than I do, that alone disqualified you. You are not handsome. As a matter of fact, you fell far below the kind of man that should deserve a lady like me. I would probably have considered you if you still have right to your inheritance and right to succeed your father's chieftaincy title."
"You must actually be a wicked man to have considered me to be your wife, to get severely scourged under the sun from sunrise to sunset on your farmland while I have the opportunity of living in a mansion with scores of servants waiting on me."
Tara continued, "You are not by any means a match for some of my suitors' errand men and bodyguards. If it's a dream, then it is a dream too big for you, and you had better wake up from it. You cannot have intercourse with my corpse, much less with me alive." After Tara had finished speaking, love turned into war. Santo told Tara, "You are not just angelic in beauty, but also highly intelligent, arrogant, and cruel. Your words pierced my heart like the edge of a sword. You sounded very much like one who did not have blood running in her veins. The extreme self-worth you have
about yourself does not give you that extreme audacity to have dared me with so much disdain
without looking back at 7 years of my good gesture towards you and your parents. Our forefathers were right when they said that what you will always hear in return after all that you might have done for a woman is, 'What did you do? You told me that I could not have intercourse with your corpse, much more with you alive.'
This for me is a big challenge, a height of daring that will not go unattended.
You have given me a set goal in life, a purpose wherein its success or failure will determine my life's worth. As long as I draw breath, my shattered heart will not be whole again, and my wounded soul will not be healed until I have intercourse with you, while you are alive or dead." Not quite long after then, Tara got married to one of her high-profile suitors. He was a son of a very wealthy businessman from another community. He was so wealthy that even kings gave him special recognition. After a brief illness, Tara was gone and never to return. She departed from the scene not like an actress who went to change her costume in other to come back for the next episode. That inevitable alternative to life called death, which we all have to face someday, somehow and somewhere took Tara away against her wish at the age of 51.
When Santo heard about the news of Tara's death, he said to himself, "I have 2 chances placed before me.
I have lost one and now have only one left." She said I could not have intercourse with her alive and in death. She was right about the previous one, but she won't be right about this other one. Santo, who was at the age of 64 years, called the members of his immediate family to himself, which comprised of his wife and 3 children. He shared his belongings to his wife and children. He went further quickly and sold all the things he had that needed to be sold, including his house and farmlands. He told his wife and children to immediately travel to a very far community to start their lives afresh, and not to disclose to anyone, including himself, where they will relocate. His wife and children, in astonishment, jointly asked him the reason for this sudden happenings and weird decisions. Santo in return told them that it is time for him to depart this world, but before then, there is a task for him to accomplish. He also made them aware that there will be rumors and circumstances around his death that may not make them proud, and that is why it is in their best interest not to tell anyone where they would relocate. He advised them to leave before the sun set to a far distant land, as the news of what will happen will go far and wide. The wife, being curious and in a deep state of riot emotions, said to him, "You are talking to us, your family, about your death as someone who had an emergence call from somewhere and will be returning soon to meet his loved ones afterwards. You are also removing us suddenly from our own house and our own land. You are separating us from our relatives and friends. Why the sudden upturn of events? It is like a nightmare from which I needed help to wake up. What kind of a person are you, and what are we to you? Mere animals? No feeling, no affinity, no affection."
While they wept profusely, Santo hugged her and their children. In that mood, Santo made them understand that they need to leave immediately because their continuous stay will be at their own peril.
As soon as Santo's family left, he went out to see a gang of hoodlums he had a pact with for the past 27 years with respect to Tara's case. He previously ordered them to kidnap Tara for him in order to have intercourse with her. The gang were not able to carry out their plan on Tara, as she traveled around under heavy security guards to avoid her being kidnapped for ransom as a result of her exclusive social and economic status. Santo and his hired gang of hoodlums walked into the premises of Tara's house disguising as sympathizers. With the help of unsuspecting insiders, they were able to locate the particular room where Tara's corpse was laid. With short guns hidden in their clothes, they threatened the security guard to open the door into the room where Tara's body was laid. A member of the gang mounted the door outside. When they got in, the security guard that led them in was knocked off.
As soon as Santo began to have intercourse with the dead,
a passerby through the window had a glimpse of what was going on in that room, and therefore decided to take a critical look. When she got a clue of what happened, she shook, trembled, and screamed continuously sacrilege. After the bubble busted, Santo's men ran out and released gunshots into the air to create confusion added to the one that already rented the air. After a relative calm, people surrounding her kept asking her what she saw that warranted the screams. All she could continue to do was pace up and down. After a while she sat down,
stood up, tapped her feet on the ground many times, and resumed shouting sacrilege again.
After about 15 minutes she was able to calm down. Then she was able to tell everyone what she saw. While still talking, she saw Santo standing among the crowd, and she pointed her 2 hands at him and said under a heavy pressure like one whose voice was under siege, "This was the man I saw having intercourse with the dead." People usually display jungle justice against anyone caught in such a crime before taking them to the constituted authority. Instead of jumping at him as the practice was, everyone around him stood away from him. They stood away from him speechless and looked at him as if they saw a demon physically. Late Tara's husband summoned courage and ordered his men to arrest the unperturbed Santo that was standing alone. The order given by Tara's husband took a dramatic turn. The security men's custom of jumping at and swiftly clamping down on anyone at their master's order like a hungry lion who found a prey did not take place this time around. The act of flexing of muscle and showing of how loyal they are to their master did not even come up. One of those bystanders who was familiar with the security men's show of force said, "So the words of the elders were really true, which says,
'When I'm never afraid gets to where there is fear, he will become afraid.'"
Guards immediately became guides by directing Santo through the paths that leads to the king's palace, as they could not come near him, much less of holding him. The words traveled like whirlwinds. Words have already gotten to the anxious king, waiting to see
The man who slept with the dead and to hear his reason, if any.
even the lame in the community begged to be carried to the palace, and those that are sick with one breath of life left in them decided not to miss out of the proceeding about to take place at the palace.
If that is going to be their last experience, they don't mind.
The king, being aware that the culprit was not from his community, quickly sent one of his messengers to inform the king of the community where Santo hailed from, to be present to witness the proceeding. People from the surrounding communities trooped in en masse. The king's palace could not contain the enormous crowd present. The proceeding was therefore moved to the market square at the center of the community. At the market square, Santo was brought to the high stage, where he was visible for everyone to see and hear vividly. When asked to explain what led to his action, Santo told the kings and council of chiefs
All that previously transpired between him and late Tara. He said what happened today
became a set goal as a result of him being dared to the extreme by Tara. He explained, she said, "I am not worthy of being
one of the servants of her several suitors. She said she cannot become the mother of my children, and that I cannot have intercourse with her, alive or dead." Those words pierced through my heart, soul, bone, and marrow. I came from a lineage of great warriors. An act of daring for us is equal to war. Refusing to take a dare is equal to being defeated. Those defeated in battle are better off than those that refuse to dare the battle. I therefore choose not to go into the grave with a wounded soul, and the only means of healing is to make sure what happened today happened.
The king responded after listening to what Santo has to say. He said everyone has a beast in them, beast of different categories of strength and sizes. There are people with shallow beasts and some others with deep-seated beasts. Those with shallow beasts often responded to flimsy touches and moves, and they are often not able to sustain momentums when it is becoming challenging. Those with deep-seated beasts do not easily get moved or fascinated by events around them.
This is the reason why they do not quickly respond to issues.
Therefore, whoever and whatever will make them respond to either a negative or positive scenario has to go to the extreme, and in this case being dared to the extreme. When those with deep-seated beasts rouse to either a negative or positive cause or purpose, they stop at nothing to realize their set goals, aim and objectives.
The only concern would be how to make them move or see reason to move.
My fellow king, council of chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that consciously or unconsciously most of our accomplishments in life is powered by the word dare. The crux of our being here today was because Santo was dared. Now, being dared simply means to challenge or provoke someone to try something risky, and when you accept a dare, you are simply trying to prove that you are not a coward. Valiant men don't go down to the grave without responding to a dare. Like I said earlier, that most of our accomplishments does not completely lack the word dare or dared. Most of us would not have dared anything if someone has not dared it. It means we are being inspired by the daring spirits of those that have dared it. Their stories became triggers and boosters for us. Most of us would not have dared to succeed in a cause or attempt any at all if we were not told we cannot. Those who said we cannot only helped to ignite our drive because we took up their positions as a challenge. Stones thrown at valiant men usually become building blocks with which they build their path to greatness. If some of us, as a result of our backgrounds and race, are not being mocked, scorned and discriminated against, we would not have dared to make any difference. Santo has the nature of a deep-seated beast. The extreme act of daring by Tara aroused and awakened the beast, which chose never to rescind until its ego was appeased. It means if Santo's been dared on a positive note, he would have achieved an extraordinary feat in life. Everyone has a certain degree of pride in them, an ego that when bruised would not be silent until it retaliates. You only know how far you can go according to your strength, but you can never determine how far others can go until you give them reasons to move. If they are yet to respond to your push, don't think they will never. Just make sure your push is always on a positive note. The king took a deep breath before he continued speaking. Now, this is my judgment. Even though Santo is not from this community, nevertheless, by the power vested in me as the paramount ruler of this great kingdom and chief custodian of our tradition and culture, I hereby confer on Santo the chieftaincy title, the valiant man. This is a chieftaincy title for people with exceptional hearts of a warrior. There was sharp contention and division among the people as a result of the king's ongoing judgment. Some people agreed with the king's position, while some others vehemently rejected it. After a while, the king's aide motioned to the people to maintain order. The king then continued, "I was yet to complete my judgment before you all interrupted. In continuation, I am not trying to justify the sacrilege committed by Santo. It will not go unpunished. I therefore sentence Santo to death by hanging.